Revelation 983. From the 27th of June 1939. Truth. Will. Weak faith. He who seeks the truth remains in the right knowledge. He emotionally rejects everything that contradicts the truth and can therefore believe everything that his spirit willingly accepts. He who desires the truth also willingly surrenders himself to the divine power and is thus already protected from the acceptance of false teachings. If he submits his will to the divine will, he must now also want what is God's will. Therefore, he can only accept what is true, because the will active in him rejects everything that is untrue, again driven by the divine spirit spark that recognizes the truth and thus protects the seeker of truth from error. The safest guarantee always and constantly remains the will of man to act and think only as it is pleasing to God. Then he cannot and never find pleasure in the opposite. He is then literally guided by the will of the Lord. For the Lord requires only the free will of man. If this is turned to him, then there is also no danger of going astray, because the whole man is then seized by divine power, which does not let him fall, but constantly pulls him upward. The timidity which often afflicts man in spite of the will turned to God, is only a too weak faith. Thus the man who stands in strong, deep faith, will have no doubts about the truthfulness of the divine word, and therefore a deep inner peace will also be granted to him, because he does not need to trouble himself with doubts. But if a man's mind is ready to consider the possible influence of evil forces, then he also gives himself into their power, while a firm faith rejects all these thoughts and thus nullifies the effect of such power. And therefore all efforts of those remain unsuccessful, while a weak faith favors the working of these forces. Only unstoppable pleading for the strength to resist effectively counters this danger, and so again prayer is the only help when faith threatens to waver. In strong faith, man is victorious. It conquers all tempters and offers resistance to all onslaughts from the enemy side. Firm faith is a weapon that gives the fighter the upper hand, and at the same time the shortest way to the truth. What man receives mentally in such unshakable faith, cannot and never be imparted by impure spirit beings, that is, by the prince of lies. To desire truth and deep faith, means to receive it. Because the power from God itself is at work and can therefore only give divine things to man. However, unconscious straying of the thoughts, that is a yielding to the temptations of the outside world, weakens the desire for truth. If now man in indifference wants to draw from the source of truth, if the deep desire does not come from the bottom of the heart, the lying spirits have the possibility to take possession of the will of man more easily, to weaken it or also to get it completely into their power. Interruption.